I can never take part in this.
Use your hands.
I guess that
nicely
works. Hi everyone. Welcome to the CUP ESC, where we put the real and the tea into ESC from top to bottom, honey. Did I do that right? Oh, okay. Yeah, now we did it right. Hi everyone. I literally had a intro ready. Yes, I'm Lewis. I'm a UK gent who's here to argument. Although I'm not sure if we're actually going to do much argumenting. We'll find out.
I doubt it.
And I am tired. Earlier today, me and Logan hopped on for the semi-final draw. So it's been a busy day for me. But I'm excited to talk about Belgium because they are the odds-on favourites, and we'll get into that. Moving on.
Yeah, no worry. My thoughts exactly, Brook, honestly. And this isn't any shade. I just have no idea. Like,
why?
I generally just have no idea why.
Yeah.
And this is like prior to the songs coming out too, correct?
Yeah, like it's been this way since December, and
it's
like
been that way since December. Oh, was artists out by then?
Well, no, because they recorded these performances in December. Oh. So the people that were there were like, yeah, Belgium's national is really good. I'm like,
okay, that makes sense.
I don't know if I'd say really good. It's good.
That makes sense. Okay. On that note, hi, I'm Aneesa Long. You're a Filipino-Canadian flop who's also into K-pop. I'm trying something new. I'm trying something new here. And I am drinking some water currently. Not in my cup mug, which you can get your very own at lanagcreations.etsy.com.
The link is
or instead of cup mug, you can get a cup bottle.
Bottle. And yeah, we do ship domestically here in North America and internationally. So Europe, Australia, and the world, there are no excuses. And everybody, it's Brook, and I am here, and I am passionate about pop culture. And quite frankly, this is the one that's leading the odds right now. I don't get it. Beside the point, I am drinking a generic bottle of water. Thank you very much. And I'm just here to have a good time.
I'm so not used to like samples being used, sound effects being used on this channel. So
I'm not getting the correlation for some reason. Okay.
Lucida's Duca, generic bottle of water.
I see. Yay.
Aneesa's just slow. It's fine. Welcome everyone. So yes, we'll be talking about the Belgian Eurosong, not to be confused with the Irish Eurosong. Honestly, one of you two needs to like take ownership of the name, and then the other needs to come up with someone else. No, I'm kidding. I mean, I'd probably say. I mean, we could probably say the same thing about Denmark and Norway, but
no, but they at least like do like Dansk MGP and then Nord MGP. So
still, it's cheap. No, interesting selection. We've got 8 songs representing, hoping to be representing Belgium in Basel in May. I mean, odds-on favorites, and I have opinions on the odds-on favorite song, and we'll get to it when we get to it. But for now, if you love all of us here at the Cup and you want to check us out doing other stuff and covering all sorts of TV shows, not including but not limited to Traitors, Drag Race, The Challenge. So we have the Cup pod for the Drag Race coverage. We have the Cup TV for the reality TV coverage. And I feel like I'm being tested now. We have the Cup Ringside for all things WWE.
Aneesa forgetting that I would forget, but you're on that channel, Lewis.
I
like you remember the Drag Race coverage, and you're not on the Drag Race channel, but you forget rings.
You say, "Oh, I know about the Drag Race because that's like the biggest." That's the flagship, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then the ringside, I mean, you say I'm on there, but like, really, let's be honest, I'm only on there once in a new moon. So
more often than half of the people that are on ringside,
right? But no, absolutely, go check out our other channels. Links will be below. Right, let's get to it. Belgium, and shall we just go straight into our first song?
Actually, I'm going to start and say,
go ahead.
Overall, as a collective, as a national final, not bad. I'm not mad.
Mm-hmm. I really liked that all the versions that were online were just the live versions, so I don't have to worry about like terrible mixing in a studio or any of that. Like it's just entertaining for me.
My only point of reference was the studio versions. So it's
same. I only listened on Spotify. I did not see the live versions, and I probably
well, I guess I'll be able to talk about the way that it was staged and stuff because that's fun.
Okay, yes.
Okay. With that being said, let's pull up with the first song of Eurosong Belgium. It's great.
How many puns will Lewis manage to get during introductions today? That's the real question. Working at the Crystal Maze, I mean, just for real.
It just comes naturally to me. Grace with Pull Up. What do we think of Pull Up? And also, is there any background that we know about Pull Up? I don't know, Aneesa. Usually you're the ones with song backgrounds and whatnot information, but I don't know if you bothered this time.
Because I have a busy work schedule, I've just come home from working a 10 and a half hour shift today.
So no.
I did not manage to be able
That's fine.
Okay, so the production, the version that they did with the live, because I watched all these on the live, like for the national final recordings. Hers was kind of okay. Her live vocal, it was not bad. The vocal was just kind of, I don't want to say flat in like the musical term flat, but just kind of samey. It needed a little bit more punching up, pretty much.
Needs a bit of zhuzh.
Yeah, a little bit of zhuzh. It needs a zhuzhing. Her dancing was good. Very good dancer. Not the best dancer in this national final, or at least based on what we saw. No shade. But yeah, personally, I don't care for this. I think my big problem with it is that it just doesn't go anywhere for me. It kind of sounds like it's trying to be like slow-mo, but like without the stage presence of slow-mo. And no shade. Again, production values from Eurovision versus Eurosong are going to be very different, obviously. But it just doesn't do it for me. I also cannot stand the high note at the end of the bridge because it's there for like a second and then she just goes into the outro. And I'm like, hold the note, please hold the note. Mm-hmm. It bothered me. Even if you're gonna hold it for like, it wasn't even like a second. It was like and then it was over.
Right. You can't just tease us like that. And like we need like at least a few seconds.
We need time for, if that's gonna be the moment, we need time to fully reel it in.
Yeah.
Take in what we've heard and seen. Mm-hmm. And then marvel and marvel at it as well. And then we move on, we progress.
Mm-hmm. I was waiting for you to continue with your analysis.
Oh, I haven't even gotten into it yet. But if you'd like to go first, you can.
Oh, I mean, I can. So of course my reference was the track version. I thought at the start this was a very pumpy track. But I feel very similar to Brook in that again, there's nothing wrong with it at all. It just doesn't really take me to places. It's trying to be. it's trying to be like songs I've heard in Eurovision before, and I usually harp on about if something sounds too similar to something I'm familiar with in Eurovision, then I'm not much of a fan of it. But it really just feels like a Timu version of the songs I've heard before.
Not Timu.
You say not Timu, like you didn't make that
I said
comment
just,
on the
okay.
on previous recordings.
To be fair, I have called songs the Timu version of blah 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 before, but usually that means the song is bad. This isn't bad. It's
no,
just
it's
like
not
fine.
bad. It's not bad. It just feels quite watered down in comparison. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree as well. I enjoy it, but I'm also kind of on that same page of like, oh, it doesn't go a whole lot of places until we get to that end. But I do sense that bit of like the whole cliche of like it picks up a lot in the second verse, and then we get to the climax. Let's see. Sorry. I thought the harmonies were great actually. Whatever was going on in the background, I thought was really cool. But I just think it's a solid song.
Yeah, it's a solid's right. I mean, it's fine. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. And I don't think any of these songs are. There's probably a couple that I think are bad. We'll get to it.
8 songs, mind you.
There's only one that I think is actively not great,
right?
Or like not good. But like I even dislike that one. I think it's fine.
All right, let's move on to Jelle van Dael with Monster. What do we think of Monster?
I enjoyed this. I don't know. I didn't write much about it, but like I just really enjoyed how I felt listening to it. It gave kind of that power and drama. And I think she has a solid voice. Hopefully it translated well live. But we'll get to that later. Once Brook does their critiques, if you will. The one thing that bothered me is that I couldn't really sense like that moment. You know, similar to what we had in, like, not similar to, but with what we had in Pull Up, where Grace goes for that high note, even if it was just for a fraction of a second. I couldn't sense that in Monster.
Okay. Do you want me to go?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, I loved. I really enjoyed this. I loved the power in the vocals on the chorus specifically. There's a lot of power on the vocals. The verses kept me involved, kept me interested. I did very much enjoy the instrumental, the track on this. Really nice production on that. Felt very punchy and bassy in a way. That's a word that I haven't used before. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a very pleasant listen.
Well, first off, found out that she's also a DJ, so that's fun. It's actually she's actually primarily a DJ. So there's that. So lyrically, I really enjoyed this. Her live vocal was like fine. It wasn't anything like special, really. It was kind of just okay.
She hit the notes.
What?
She hit the notes at least?
She did hit the notes, yes. But she didn't like do anything spectacular with them, if that makes any sense. Like they were there, they were fine. And she was there and she was fine. It's just kind of generic to me. It's got just a little bit. Nothing like, it's not like the most cut and paste thing I've ever heard. But like, I've heard songs like this year, and this is not the best one in the category, and therefore it feels generic to me. She also kind of stood for like a solid like 30 seconds in the performance. She was kind of like had her legs spread, and then like it was like in like a half squat, like not even attempting a full squat, just kind of like it almost looked like she was like hunching. I can't really describe it. Her live performance was boring. So they need to beef up her actual show if she does end up going. Give her actual stage direction next time, because I don't think they planned for that at all. Other than they had this really nice like Windows background for her. No, I like the song. I want to be clear, the song's good. It was fine. Like the live was fine.
That's interesting, because I thought, if anything, there was a lot of direction they could go with this song performance-wise, so I'm surprised by that. But anyway, shout out Jelle. We're going to move on to Manou with Fille et Papa?
Fille
Et Papa. And
Fille
also
et Papa.
Manou. L-O-U.
Manou.
Manou.
Sorry, Le Manou.
Le Manou.
Le Manou.
Or translating to daughter to father, I suppose.
Daddy's
daughter,
girl.
Daddy's girl.
Oh, there you go.
Daddy's girl.
Daddy's girl.
I loved this.
Yeah.
This is here for the girls, gays, and theys. Let's be real.
Yeah. Yeah.
The production was really good. Her live vocal wasn't anything special, but because of how the song works, it doesn't need to be. And I think that's actually a really big strength of this song. I adore this. I really, really like it. And if it does go to show, I think it will do really well. So yes, please.
Yeah, I'm also a really big fan of this. It's got the perfect amount of catchiness where it's not borderline repetitive. Or I don't know, because I feel like I've said that with like songs that aren't as repetitive and saying it's too repetitive. I mean, it's just being able to make it work, and I think it works really well here.
The way I divide it is what's repetitive and what's catchy, because I feel like that's how I differentiate between the two.
Fair.
I
find very catchy. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
She's got a really cool pocket, and I think that's the biggest like positive critique I have. That pocket's really good, and I can say that about one other song in the selection, which we'll get to later. I really enjoyed the bridge. I thought the climax could be a lot more powerful. I thought there could be an even bigger hit. This is just listening to the studio version anyway. Brook, obviously.
I felt the same way about it in the live. But I mean, again, and this is something we talked about a while ago. I don't remember what selection. I think it might have been Spain for some reason. That's something they can fix, right? And and it's something I want to mention with pull-up is that the climax can always be fixed, right? It's not something that requires much editing. Compositionally, this is really good. Personally, like subjectively, I find this really enjoyable. So I hope it's something that they do fix.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a bop. I can't lie. I
a little
bit of a bop. It's a bop. I loved the beat. The production on the vocals sounded really sweet. Again, very catchy. It's interesting. I had no idea that we've already had live versions of this. Can absolutely see them having a lot of staging options for a song like this. So I don't know what it did staging wise. Having said that, staging this early is not, the staging changes every now and again. I would like to see this, how this would be staged on a big stage in Basel. Yeah, I
will say, this in this particular selection across the board, only like one or two songs had like really intricate staging, or like things that were a little bit more than like basic with a little bit of a dance break.
Right.
Because like Pull Up, the girl had a cane for like half of the number, and I'm not really sure why. And like a few of these songs had like pretty standard staging, like just different background, a little bit of a lighting thing. And then two of them, which we haven't talked about either of them yet, did more and a lot more. But this one was just kind of as you would expect, nothing super crazy with staging. But it kind of worked, and it was kind of simplistic, and I think it kind of benefited from that because it allowed her to show off her vocal in a really nice way.
I love that. Sweet. Let's move on to, we've got Leez next with Perfectly Imperfect. And I don't know about you two, but I feel like the name of the song kind of entails how I felt about this song.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a solid entry. I just felt like, I mean, okay, yeah, I thought this was the entry of the selection that I thought teetered just a little too close to the line of repetitive. Didn't really see much dynamic complexity. Trademark Logan Murphy. Dynamic complexity to keep me interested in this song, unfortunately.
I kind of agree with the whole dynamic complexity. Yeah, it could go a bit more places. But it's weird. I have a weird relationship with the song. I think the more I listen to it, the more I start liking it. And I don't know. I'm starting to like really enjoy it. To enjoy it a lot more than I did upon first listen. She's got a nice voice. I like the little growl she has when she goes for those higher belts. I don't know.
This is fine. Perfect. This is my perfectly solid of the selection.
Perfectly imperfect.
Perfectly imperfect. Perfectly imperfect of the selection. No, it's just there's nothing offensive about it, but like it wasn't anything really special about it either. Like again, this feels like okay, we have 7 songs for the national selection. Let's just rifle through the bucket and pick the last one. And I'm not saying that this is the worst in the selection. It's not to me. I just don't have any particularly strong feelings about it. Her live vocal was good. The production's kind of boring, kind of just, but it's not good enough that I could be like, oh, her vocal was great, and the production's not boring enough to be like, oh my god, this production. It's just so fine. Like to bring back the meh bucket from Spain. I think this would go right in the meh bucket from Spain. Just throw it in the bucket.
Sweet. Well,
for context, Aneesa, the meh bucket was created just to talk about the songs that were all like okay and nothing else, which was like half the Spanish national selection.
Oh, I need to watch that back because I'll probably have opinions on that. All right, are we good to move on?
Yeah.
Let's move on. And next up, we have Lenn with Air Balloon. Now, in my opinion, although it's called Air Balloon, it went a bit. It went down a bit like a lead balloon for me. I did not care for this.
Wow.
At all.
No. Insert root, right? Lenn, your air balloon was not hot. End scene.
I don't know. I hate
your Miss Jones was not graceful.
I hate using the word boring. Let's just say I found.
You can say boring. You can say boring.
I hate using that word. I don't like it. I'll just say this is the least interesting song I've heard in a long while when it comes to national selections.
So, Brook, you mentioned with Perfectly Imperfect, you said it was perfectly solid, right? So, we have now come to the part of the show, for me, where I give my award, also coined by Logan, of perfectly inoffensive. Congratulations, Lenn.
You are the winner of this week's main challenge. Congratulations.
He's got a cool voice, or they've got a cool voice. I don't know the pronouns. But I think they have a really cool tone when they sing. I enjoy the vibe. It's like your typical feel good montage background music kind of thing That's very much what it gave me. Like I could easily see this in like The Fault in Our Stars or something.
Y'all are being a bit harsher than I thought. Because like
wait. Sorry, wait. I don't mean that like horribly. It's just I don't mean that.
If anyone's being harsh, it's probably me.
Oh no, it's you. Yeah, like I don't think it was that bad. Was it anything particularly special? Not really, but like I thought it was enjoyable. I think it's because his tone was so unique, and there's not really anybody. I mean, that I've heard at Eurovision before that has that like Barry bass kind of quality to his voice. I can't really describe it beyond that. It's like very rich. Tone.
I think that's the word, rich.
Yeah. I like what the song is about because even though I can't relate to being an optimistic human being, I respect the idea and the fact that he's just going to sell that to us. And I bought it from him during this performance. They didn't do anything particularly special, but the one thing I really like is the background that they used for this was like just a moving picture of clouds. And I thought it really fit with the number. Like it was surprisingly really good. Did it look a little bit like a Windows XP screensaver? Yes, but like that's okay. It's a national final. You're allowed to look like a screensaver. But no, it felt cozy. Like it felt really cozy. The room really felt into it too. Is it very radio friendly? Yes. Is it trying to be radio friendly? Probably. That's probably the biggest knock I have on it. I don't think it's anything like special. Well, I don't know. Wait. Also, he is very pretty.
Yes.
Very pretty. Call me.
Wait, no, I wanted to ask as well. Towards the end of the song, he hits a bunch of like, in the background at least, there's a bunch of like high falsetto moments. Does he hit any of that in that live performance?
He hit everything that he was trying to do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was very impressed by it personally. In terms of like vocally it was very impressive. Lyrically, not much, but like, you know, hey.
Yeah, I think just overall, like my biggest thing is I feel like I need more.
Mm-hmm. I'd agree.
Yeah, I definitely agree. We'll move on to Mentissa with Désolée.
Désolée. This bop. Okay. I adored this. Every single aspect of this. So this is one of the ones that actually had a little bit more of an intricate staging to it. For the first like minute of the number, she's sitting in a chair, right? And she's not just sitting there, but she's like moving and like selling to the audience, but she's just in a chair. And then when she gets up during, I think right after the first chorus or during the first chorus, right? It kind of pulls the energy into the room a little bit more. I think it was a great decision because it made it feel a little bit more unique at the beginning. I love the message of this. I think it's really great. It's the idea of like accepting yourself for your flaws and not being apologetic for them. Love that. Here for that. I think this would be fantastic at show. She's also a very nice dancer. So this would be great. I would love for this to go to show.
So I made a comparison with this. I don't know if either of you would know this, but this was from Logan might remember it. And also Sindri might remember it because he was on this when we talked about
I remember when Sindri was part of our
shout out to Sindri.
Shout out Sindri. Sindri was okay. If anyone was harsh, Sindri did not hold back.
We need him back.
We need him back because oh my god, he was very cutthroat.
He was. This was from Songvakept in 2022. I believe the song, the Icelandic version, was called Haikum Ibon or something like that. And by Sun City and Sana. It gave very much that same vibe, which I love, of like this groovy bass, insanely in pocket, Oh yeah, this is the other song that I was referring to when I was saying like, oh, I love the pocket.
Mhm.
I don't know, this vibe in with French hits different. I don't know if it's just me, but I love hearing French with this kind of vibe.
Agreed.
Amazing flow with the second verse when she goes into those like quick lyrics. I think it's the perfect amount of production for this. I from voice, like perfect ratio of like voice to production.
Mhm.
My one little thing, similar to what you've mentioned, Brook, with pull up. I think we could use more time for that climax.
Mhm.
Otherwise, everything I love.
I figured I'd be on my own island in this one. I, okay. So I also loved this second verse, and I did make a point of that. I love the parts of the second verse when I called it near rapping, not quite rapping, but near rapping. Just how many syllables she was fitting
Like
into.
sing rapping kind of thing.
Yeah, sing rapping, kind of fitting as many syllables as you can in the stanza,
Right.
whilst also being articulate. I loved that part. I don't know. I personally wish the track was a bit more complex. Personally,
That's fair. Yeah.
I think that's why I didn't enjoy it as much. However, I also understand why it is universally pleasing. I don't know what the word is, but like I can understand why people love it so much.
Right.
It's just a not for me kind of situation, but it also is one of those songs that I understand will probably be a grower once I get into it a lot more. There's been a lot of opportunities in the past where I've had a song that I've ranked very low at this stage, and then if they got sent to Eurovision and I listened to it more and more, it became one of my favorites. So I think this is another one of those songs. So right now, I'm here, but I'm hoping that I'm hoping that I can get more opportunity to listen to it to change my view on it. Sweet. With that being said, we'll move on to Red Sebastian with Strobe Lights.
This is cool. I thought this was cool. I don't know. I might be on my own. I don't know. Okay, so my number one thing was the vocals were really impressive. I really hope. Did he hit the vocals live?
He did.
Everything?
He did. Yeah.
Great. Okay. So I don't know. This is such a I thought this was a very interesting. That's the main word for me for this. Just interesting. But also I don't know how this would fare at Eurovision, especially because it's the main thing for me is the verses where he sings oh so freely.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get much of a groove or a beat in those verses until the chorus comes in. I think that's what I felt about majority of the song on a rhythmic basis of like, oh, it's sung very freely.
Right.
And I feel like it's very niche. This is such a niche vibe for Eurovision. I don't hopefully it translates well to a bunch of people.
I love the vocal on this and I love the beat. The only thing that I really said was that it maybe needs a bit more oomph in the latter parts of the track. I feel like towards the latter part, I needed some sort of switch up or some sort of not climax, but like towards the end, it felt a bit tired. I don't know. I like it. I like it, but maybe could do with some sort of revamp if it got sent.
I don't think I get it. Because, like, okay, lyrically, I don't get it. Vocally, I get it. Okay, the vocals are sensational. They were really good live. I don't get it. Maybe there's nothing to get. Maybe that's the point. I don't know, but I just don't understand.
Okay.
Vocally is really good. Vocally is great. I have no problems with the vocal. This is the other one that they did something with the staging. However, I think the staging severely detracted from my enjoyment of this. Granted, it's called strobe lights. I expect like strobe lights, but y'all, I felt like if you didn't get like if you watched this, it could have triggered a seizure. And I say that, and I'm not trying to make a joke. I'm being real. Like, legitimately, like some Pokemon Porygon kind of crap. And this was just, it was so over the top for me. Like too much of all of that. Vocally, fantastic. No qualms about the vocal whatsoever. Probably the best vocal this national final by far, one of the best ones I've heard this season, to be honest with you. But I just don't get it. Maybe I'm just the only one that doesn't get it. I just don't get it. So,
kind of what I gathered from it, not lyrically, but I guess to some degree lyrically, it just gives very much like, oh, you're tripping at a rave, you know?
I mean, sure. But
like that's the main thing I kind of gathered from it.
It's also worth pointing out that right now this is the odds-on favorite to be sent to Basel. Yeah. Right now this is the odds-on favorite, and also I thought, I mean, maybe this means nothing since Belgium were odds-on favorites for quite a while now, but if that's anything to go by, then this is the odds-on favorite to win right now.
That's weird to me though, because I don't even feel like, and this is just me trying to be objective here. Out of this panel of three people, one of us really likes it, one of us is like whatever with it, and then I'm kind of like, right? 1 out of 3, I mean, granted, we represent a very small diaspora of the Eurovision population, but like, I don't feel like it would do very well at show. I feel like it would make the final, especially if the vocal holds up.
It's interesting because
I think the juries would like it, but I don't think it's going to do super well in the televote. No. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about too, listening to it.
I don't think it's going to do as well in the televote, and I'm surprised it's high up in the odds given.
I actually didn't think it'd be that high up.
A lot of my Eurovision friends are saying the same thing, that they are surprised by how well Strobe Lights is doing in the odds because they don't care for it as much.
I mean, again, I don't dislike it, right? Especially vocally. The vocal is fantastic, but I don't feel like it's very easily accessible.
Right.
And I think that's a huge problem when you're trying to connect to the televote, because even something like The Code, which is literally the whole thing of the song is trying to explain the journey of being non-binary to people who aren't non-binary. Like, that's the whole point. That
was so.
But that song has accessibility built into it by design, right? And even it didn't do. I mean, it was in the top, like, what, 6th in the televote, right? But for a winner, it's not. Yeah, 6th in the televote, which for a recent winner is not typically great, but like it's still good. I don't know. I just feel like this would struggle a little bit more than a few other things here at show.
I agree. Let's move on to our final song of this selection. We have, someone else please cover the surname for me. We have Stefanie
Callebaut.
Slay with Gloria. I love that you both said very different things.
Callebaut. I feel
Callebaut.
I've heard 5 different pronunciations from 5 different people on YouTube. So, Stefanie, we'll just say Stefanie for now. Queen, we don't want to butcher your last name anymore than we already have.
Gloria, I found this very, very interesting.
Interesting good or interesting bad?
Interesting good. Interesting good. I found this very interesting good. I made a comparison. I made a comparison.
Aneesa, you just pulled a face.
No, you know what it is? I found this quite unusual, but unusual in the sense that I was intrigued rather than like taken back. You know what I mean? My comparison that I made was Kate Bush, but I don't know if that it gives me kind of Wuthering Heights in a sense, but kind of
like Kathy Come Home.
Who's that?
Never mind.
Yeah. Lyrically, not a fan. Beat wise, not a fan. I actually enjoyed the vocal, but I think that might have just been a little bit of Stockholm syndrome. Like, I think I kind of got taken hostage by it, and in order to enjoy it, I had to form a relationship with my kidnapper. Maybe that's just me. I will say her vocal kind of reminded me of like if Cyndi Lauper decided to belt out a power ballad. So like,
sorry, Brook.
I do hear it too, don't you, Lewis?
No, that's what kind of. we need to make it like a thing where we all make a comparison and just to see how crazy our comparisons can be.
I think the one that I had in mind is not going to be as crazy as that. Mainly because I don't know if people would know mine. Hopefully they do, but this gave me. Do you remember, Lewis? You might, but do you remember Aiste from Lithuania, from the Lithuanian national selection last year? She did the song "We Will Rule the World." Good song, just not the strongest live vocal. Just not the strongest.
I can't remember the song, but I remember the name of the song.
Yeah, I don't know how this was live, but it kind of gave me that in the aspect that they kind of had that similar tone of like they borderline sound like they're running out of breath.
Okay. I mean,
sure. I don't know. But otherwise, just there was a lot going on in the song for me. Although I did enjoy the choir. I really enjoyed the choir.
I think I'm getting the sense that every time there's too much going on, I actually really enjoy it, whereas everyone else doesn't.
That's
been a running theme where I've been a big fan of the songs that have so many different things going on at once, and others don't. And I guess that's just a me thing. Yeah. I mean,
I will say discussing these has made me change my ranking a smidge.
No, me too. I've changed my ranking a couple times, but I do that every pod.
So. Well, I usually don't, but like today I thought about it a little bit more. This song was originally my last place, I will say that. Oh. But in discussion, I've thought about it a little bit more. And I don't know, maybe the Stockholm Syndrome worked because like I feel a little bit attached to it more than I did before we discussed it.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's not easy to forget a song like this. Sorry.
That sounds shady, bitch.
That sounds so like. Sorry, I mean, it's the only one of its kind in the selection. I'm not saving myself here, Arnold.
Girl, you're just digging that hole deeper and deeper right now.
I'll shut up.
I'm gonna save you right now. Let's get rid of
Stefanie. We love you.
I fucking love you, Stefanie. Don't listen to them. Right. We're going to.
It's just not my cup of tea. I think that's what it is.
All right, and she's my cup of tea, and that's all that matters. Right. We've now come to the point of our program where we must discuss Points.
Points.
All right. Who wants to start? Should we start with you, Aneesa, then Brook, then me? Maybe.
Sure.
Do we have
Sure.
points for Logan or Eduardo?
No,
We do not. Okay.
we don't need to cover them. They can.
I was just
Yeah.
curious.
No.
Sue me.
No. They.
I feel like it's fairly obvious where I stand with my.
No, not at all.
Love you, girl. Gloria.
Boo.
Okay, that's freaking hilarious. My 3 points go to pull up. I don't like it. Now that I've thought about it a little more, I really don't like it.
Slay. Let me just add them to the chat. My 3 points are going to Lenn for air balloon. Sorry, I guess.
My 4 points will be going to Lenn with air balloon. Sorry.
Well, my 4 points. Sorry, girl. um,
Oh my god. All right, my 4 points are going to Leez for perfectly imperfect.
5 points. This was one of the few that where I've changed my rankings based on what we have talked about today. So my 5 points actually will be going to Grace with pull up. And I'm kind of surprised about that too.
My 5 points will be going to Perfectly Imperfect.
My 5 points are also going to Grace for pull up.
Work. My 6 points will be going to Perfectly Imperfect.
My 6 points will be going to Air Balloon because it's cute and it's cozy.
My 6 points are going to. What the fuck was that? Oh, not me swearing on the show. Bleep that out, Logan. My 6 points. Okay. They're not
I've been
gonna
swearing
bleep
on
it out.
recording. It's fine. We're not
Right,
monetized.
we're fine. We're fine. Mentissa for Désolée.
Disgusting.
Disgusting! You better say you better say Désolée to Mentissa right now, Lewis.
What's
Just
it
read
mean?
Désolée.
What's
It
that
means
mean?
I'm sorry.
6 points is fine. 6 points is good.
Aneesa.
My 7 points will be going to Monster by Jelle.
My 7 points will be going to Strobe Lights, mainly because there are too many Strobe Lights.
Yes.
My 7 points are also going to Strobe Lights.
And my 8 points will be going to Strobe Lights.
Oh.
Yay, Strobe Lights. Okay. So my 8 points will be going to Monster.
Sweet. And my 8 points are going to Gloria.
I was wondering when she would come up.
You know,
There she
with
is.
Lewis, you never know. Sometimes the one that everybody's like okay with is like number 1, and then sometimes it's like 20th. You never really know.
Yeah,
I love being unpredictable.
sure. My 10 points.
I am branding myself
Sure.
the contrarian of the CUP ESC.
My 10 points will be going to Daddy's Girl.
My 10 points will also be going to Daddy's Girl.
And my 10 points are going to Jelle.
Valid.
Valid.
12
Which
points. 12
So which means
points.
Brook and I have the same 12 points. There we go. There we go. Going to Mentissa with Désolée.
And my 12 points are going to.
Also mine as well, yes.
Oh, yeah. And my 12 points are going to La Manou for Fille Papa.
Fille.
Fille Papa. Fille Papa. Right. I'm going to do some calculating.
It's time for math.
AKA rearranging.
It's time for maths, aka rearranging the scores on the
AKA
sheet.
rearranging rows on
Let's
our
go Excel
lovely
spreadsheet.
spreadsheet.
Woo.
Google.
We've
Google
been doing.
Sheets.
We've been doing top
format
5.
cabling.
I think because there's so many ties with the bottom half, let's just do top 3. So, in third place with 25. Oh, let me hide that. In third place with 25 points, we have Jelle with Monster. In second place with 30 points, Mentissa for Désolée, which means our winner for Eurosong Belgium with 32 points is Daddy's Girl.
Will not complain about that.
I'm very happy with that. I'm very happy about that. Right, well, there we have it. There's our opinions on Eurosong Belgium. Do you disagree with any of us? If it's me, don't let me know. If it's either Aneesa or Brook, do let them know in the comments below.
Tell us why you think Perfectly Imperfect should be going a show. I mean, really.
Right. Do you agree with the betting odds? Is Red Sebastian your favorite to be sent? And if so, why? Please let me know. With that being said, thank you for watching. As always, go follow us on our socials. You can see it's on the ticker below. That's on Twitter, on Bebo, on MySpace, on Blue Sky. I believe we're on Blue Sky. Who's not on Blue Sky? Any of us not on Blue Sky?
I'm on Blue Sky.
I'm on Blue Sky.
I just never use it.
I just never use it. Yeah, I'm waiting for it to be fully developed before I start fully using it. And as always, please go and check our other channels out. You can see all of our channels listed below. We have the Cup Pod for all things drag. We have the Cup TV for all things reality TV. The Cup Ringside for all things WWE. And also, of course, go and buy some merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com, including but not limited to cup mugs and cup bottles.
Cup bottle. Bottle.
And we're gonna get out of here and we're gonna skedaddle. So thank you for watching and go watch other stuff. Bye.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cup bottle.